We're the Vinyl Verdict. I'm Jacob.
I'm Michael.
And today we're here to talk about an interesting 45 called Seaside Woman by Siouxsie and the Red Stripes, a.k.a. Paul McCartney and Wings. But this is a really unique one, and recently we did a review of Mull of Kintyre, and we said that was the next single after the Maybe I'm Amazed live version. This is a technicality. This was actually technically released in May of 77 in the US, so this was the next single after Wings Over America that you would have heard. It's a technicality because it was recorded at the end of 72. So it was just held up for many, many years before it saw the light of day. And actually in the UK and other parts of the world, it wasn't even released until 79, basically at the end of Wings. I think Seaside Woman is maybe the first song that she ever recorded as well. It was recorded in Paris with that version of Wings when a gig was canceled. That version was scrapped. They re-recorded it during the Red Rose Speedway sessions. That version wasn't put on the Red Rose Speedway album. And then Paul actually messed with it in the 80s, which is the version I'll talk about as well. But the version here on the single was the version recorded for the Red Rose Speedway album.
Yeah, it was Linda all over it, and Paul doing a great effort helping her in the harmonies and the vocals and the music, I'm sure. And the whole reggae thing wasn't really in vogue at that time like it was to become. And they both were real enjoyable to me at the time. I listened to them. I kind of learned them as such as I could on the piano. I liked it a lot. Beatle level it wasn't, but it hit the ear in a pleasing way at the time. Listening to it after the passage of all these years, it's less impressive, but I still admire the way Paul was helping his wife, and I think it was a good effort, and I always liked her vocals. And who were Siouxsie and the Red Stripes, who knows? I think it was Paul and Linda and some other musicians. I still don't really know, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, on this version it's Wings. It's Denny Lane, Denny Seiwell on drums, and Henry McCullough. So it's the full, and I think this is a pretty missing element of that Red Rose Speedway album is that, Denny Lane had a song that was, not used in the album, and really the idea of it being this more cohesive Wings band didn't happen until Venus and Mars, debatably Speed of Sound. But the songs were there. I think it was the label had rejected the double album version, Red Rose Speedway, and this would have had a nice place on it, I think. I love the 80s version. It's a ton of reverb. And he does the typical 80s thing with breaking out certain versions, and he adds other melodies and synthesizers and vocal, little improv stuff all over it. Again, maybe leaning into the fact that it wasn't that commercial. And then the B-side, also a little bit of a parody of B-sides in general. It's called B-side to Seaside. That one sounds more like some of the other Linda songs from the 70s where it's experimenting. It's got a lot of different sections to it, but it maybe struggles a little bit in cohesion to be like one song. There's a lot of different parts being stuck together in kind of one medley, kind of like that Oriental Nightfish song and stuff. But it's a great. I mean, it's more the experimental, my name, look up the number kind of stuff that Paul did in the Beatles, and he's clearly having fun, and Linda's having fun, so it serves its place on.
There's a great lead on B-side to Seaside. I guess that's one of the switches you're talking about, where it goes from the reggae part into it's up to like a minor seventh right there, and just another pattern and with a beautiful, almost Elizabethan frill at the end of it, that brings it back into the reggae basic song. It's a little more basic, but it has that lead in there, which I always loved, appreciated from the moment I heard it. I thought that was really fun to hear.
Yeah, I'd say overall this is Paul giving one to his fans, giving them something fun to play.
It was an odd one, and I have a lot of memories attached to it, fitting into the collection, so to speak.
That is the only record we have by Siouxsie and the Red Stripes, but it deserves to be in these Paul McCartney reviews, so thanks for tuning in.